for tonight. Okay, welcome. So if you can hear me, please let me know so that we can start. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to show you what we are going to be doing today. Show you. Mhm. So this is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut today. Good evening. If you can hear me, please let me know so you can see. So that's what I will show you guys how to cut. Good evening. I'm just trying to adjust the lightings, okay? So that's what we're going to learn today. Good evening, Peter, Joy. Good evening. Is our sound okay? So we're going to start with the front bodies, okay? The network is working fine. So let's start with our front bodies. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to mark a start line. So let's see, this is our US, this is our pattern paper. All right, thank you so much, Peter Joy. Thank you, I appreciate that. So the next thing we're going to do, so this is going to be our start line or our shoulder line, okay? So from that line, you're going to come down to your bust point because it is very important for this, your bust point, your under bust. So the bust point we're going to use 10 inches. So you mark your 10 inches and then you mark your under bust, which is 13. Okay, and then I'm going to mark my waist. So for the waist, I'll use 18 inches and then I'll mark 24 for the basque part. So all of these lines, I'm going to connect them with a straight ruler. So like I said, this is the front pattern. That is what we are doing. If you are just joining us, you're welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. I would appreciate that. Okay. So these are all of my lines. I'm marking them on my pattern, which I'm going to label. So the first line is our shoulder line. Then we have our bust point, our under bust, our waist, and then our basque or top length. Okay. So those are the lines. So the next thing we want to do, we want to draft out our pattern. So for this, we're going to be using a bustier pattern. So we'll come to this point, we'll mark our shoulder, which is 14. So by the way, the dimensions I'm going to be using, our bust is 36, under bust is 30, the waist is 34, and then the top length hem is 40. So those are the measurements. So you come to this part, we want to mark our bust, our shoulder, which is 14 divided by 2, we have 7. So I'll add half inch for allowance. So from that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch because I want to create a shoulder slope, which is very important for this. So I'll connect that to the shoulder line, and then from this point, I'm going to mark half of my armhole. So my armhole is 15, which I will divide into 2. I'm going to have 7.5. So I'll reduce it because it's like a sleeveless. So I'm going to reduce it. I'll take out half inch. You can take out 1 inch from your armhole. So from that point, I'll mark it and then I'll connect that line. That line is going to start as my chest line, okay? So the next thing I want to do, for those of you that are just joining us, you're welcome. So the next thing I want to do now, I want to create my bustier pattern. So the bustier pattern that I'm going to use for this, I think I am going to use, I'm looking at using a princess that, a classic princess that, no, let me use a point. I'm going to mark half of that part. I'll come in by 1/4 inch and then I am going to connect that measurement. That's like I'm going to connect it together like this, okay? Okay, sorry. So I'll connect it. Ah, okay. So I'll connect it like this so you see, to give me that beautiful curve. So the next thing we want to do, we want to create out our dart. So for the dart, I'm going to use 8 inches. So I'll divide 8 inches into 2. I'm going to have 4 inches. That 8 inches is for a bust span, which is our nipple to nipple. So I'll share it. It is 8. So I'll share it into two. I'm going to have 4 inches. So that 4 inches, I'm going to mark the 4 inches across all of those lines like this. Okay. I'll just connect it except my chest line. I did not mark it on the chest line. And then the next thing, I'm going to come to this under bust. I want to mark a dart. So the dart I'm going to be using is a 2 inches dart. So I'll mark the 2 inches dart here like this. And then I'll connect it to the bust point. Okay. So I'll take it like this. I'll connect that to the bust point like this. Can you see? So it gives me a beautiful curve. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the top. So I want to create out this neckline. You can see this V neckline, okay? And that V neckline, it came to, it's really deep. It's even deeper than my chest line. So what I'm going to do, I am going to connect. It came down. It's so deep, like it is deep. It's deeper than the chest line. You can see it came up just a little bit, like it even came below the bust point. Yes, it came below the bust point, like here. So that's where that neckline is a very deep neckline. So what I'm going to do, I am going to, before then, let's create the V part of the neckline first. We will now be talking about the depth. So I'm going to come to this part like this. So I'm going to come to this part like this. And I'm going to mark 3 inches for the width. Okay, so once I mark 3 inches for the width of that neckline, I'm going to create a curve. So I'll just mark like 1 inch. So this is just a guide. You understand? So I'm not marking, I will show you guys. So this is just like a guide first. I'm not using this. It's actually a V neckline I want to create. I just want to use that as a guide. And then the next thing, I'll come to this point. I'll check half of what I have. I'll mark it here. And I'll connect to create my shoulder dart pattern. Okay, so once I've gotten my shoulder dart pattern, it is okay. So I'll just give it a beautiful curve and then just blend it here. You can see what I have. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want to bring my dart down. So remember, I took 2 inches from my dart. So on this down part, I'm going to come down, use 1.5. I don't want to use the same 2 inches, just to give it a good curve. So that is why. So I'll just connect it like this. So once I connect it, the next thing I want to do now, I want to create this style line here. Okay, before then, let's just finish our pattern. So I'm not adding any side darts to this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to this point. I want to mark my bust line. So 36 divided by 4, I have 9. And then I'll add my 2 inches for that, and then add like 2 inches or 1 inch stitching allowance. And then I'll come to my under bust line. I'll add my 2 inches dart and then add my 1.5, because I actually use 1.5 for the dart. So I'll mark it here. And then I'll come to the waist, which is 34 divided by 4, which is 8.5. So I'll mark it here, and then I'll mark 2 inches for my dart. So you can see I still have 2 inches there. From then add the 1.5 inch stitching allowance, and then I'll come to the hem. So for the hem, I'm using 40 divided by 4. I'll mark it here, and then I'll add my 1.5